Hello, my name is Daniel Scuria-Herman, and today I'll be speaking on the topic of the heat. The dreadful, overpowering heat we've been experiencing lately, as well as just heat in general. Usually I start these videos with breaking down the general concept, but with heat, if you live on this planet in an area with any type of temperature range, you definitely know what heat is, especially in recent years. When I was growing up, it was never 90 degrees pretty much every single day in June. I'd be hard-pressed to find an 80-degree day outside of July. And I live in New York, which is pretty famed for its extreme temperatures, but these past few weeks I've been practically suffocating in this sweltering hot spell. Here's the thing, practically anyone I talk to about this loves the heat. And that's what I don't understand. How? Why? What good does it bring you? Those same people who proffer praise for the summer will look pained and miserable when hot weather comes around, sweating and exhausted and beaten down by the humidity. They'll complain about what the weather is doing to their hair, or how hard it is to sleep at night, or how they have to stay still to make sure they don't overheat. So what good actually comes from the heat? Here's my theory. Pretty much everyone in America has had some level of education, which means they've all had summer vacation. Every year of boring school would be interrupted by a couple months of fun, where they would have zero responsibilities. So, when these kids grow up to be adults, they want to relive their young years and enjoy their summers. But what is there to actually do? How many times can you really go to the beach or go to the park? Not that there's anything wrong with those, but is that your idea of fun, to lay on sand for hours getting skin cancer? I can understand going to a park to throw a frisbee around, but do you really need 80 or 90 degree weather for that? You could do the same thing in spring or even fall. There's nothing special that heat brings you. Here's how I look at it. When it's cold out, you can always put on more layers. Too cold, just put on another layer and repeat until you're not cold anymore. Too hot, take off layers until you're not hot anymore. However, if it's hot out and you're only wearing one layer, what are you to do? You can't take off your skin, that's for sure. That's nothing to appease the pain of heat as easy as it is to remedy cold. Which is why I never understand where the hatred for cold weather comes from. Truly, in the modern age, cold weather is the very least of our problems. Before classes started this past semester, when students started to come in on March or April afternoons, they'd talk about how it might be warming up and how excited they were for hot weather and how it would be beautiful out. In this channel, I've tossed the word beautiful around a lot, but I would never be caught using it as a descriptor for hot weather. What beauty is there to be found in sunburn or sweat? In 50-degree weather like it was then, in those March or April days, every student there could feel perfectly comfortable as long as they layered correctly, and if they didn't, that's on them. In 90-degree weather, like it is right now, what are you to do? Of course the heat is getting worse. When I was growing up, there were scares of white Halloweens, but now there aren't even white Christmases. December barely dips below 50 degrees, and January's cold is short-lived and unsightly. Truly, the cold in January is soulless and usually snowless. It's not a fun cold, it's just frigid. But at the very least, you could do something about it. Then it shoots back up above 40 in February, and here we are in June, stuck at 90. This is unbearable. I truly do not understand why people still claim that they enjoy this. Because I really don't think they do, unless they like pain. If it's cold out, you could still operate normally. Again, as long as you prepare for the oncoming or ongoing cold, you'll be fine. Swaddle yourself in a blanket while you work on an assignment. But with heat, there's really nothing you can do. In fact, when it gets hot enough out, it impedes my mental processes. It's harder to think in humid weather, which is mind-boggling in every sense. There's nothing to enjoy because you can't even think clearly enough to comprehend enjoyment. Everything is harder in hot weather. There's no redeeming parts to this, it's just suffering. I don't know why I've had to listen to people all year complain about how chilly it is, especially when we don't see much of that weather anymore. And just yearning for this moment right here, where it's 90 degrees and I feel like I'm dying. Please, reevaluate your perception of the world. Now listen, I could be wrong here. I fully accept that. In fact, I like being wrong. I made a whole video on it. It gives me an opportunity to learn. If there's anything redeeming about this swelter, do let me know. I truly want to get to the bottom of why people would look forward to this beyond that mental association I mentioned at the beginning. Talking itself is difficult when the heat beats down on you like this, so I'm going to have to end it here. If you have any thoughts, do let me know, and if you want to see more of these, there'll be a playlist on the end screen. But until next time, adieu.